So after our snowy walk with Rowdy, I came in and warmed up my coffee from the morning by just warming up the milk, really. It's one of my coffee tricks. I just warm up some more milk and pour it into my cool coffee that I left sitting around. And then I decided I wanted to cook something, just something cozy and warm. And I have all of these beautiful pumpkins in my pantry that I grew. It's a Harvest Moon variety, and they are just the prettiest bluish, grayish, greenish color. It's one of my favorite colors, and I'm gonna have to grow them every year now. So I've had these in my pantry, and they're storing really well, still nice and firm. And I also had a few delicata squash that I also grew sitting around. They aren't storing quite as well. I don't think they're really meant to, but I'm just gonna roast them up and puree them and turn them into soup also. After slicing into the pumpkins and the squash, I scooped out all the seeds, salt and pepper, olive oil, and roasted them. I think I did about 400 degrees for quite a while. They were very firm and I wanted them really soft, so I let them roast really just until they were fork tender. And then I let them cool a bit. I scooped out all of the flesh into my food processor and just pureed it until it was a nice smooth puree. Had my little helpers alongside laying in the sunshine in the kitchen. And then I moved on to actually making the soup. And in retrospect, I didn't need to put that puree into the jar. I actually thought that I wasn't going to use all of it. I was just going to scoop some out, and then I ended up using all of it. So it was a dirty dish, an unnecessary dirty dish, but that's okay. It looked pretty in the jar while it lasted. So then I got started on the soup. Chopped up some bacon that I had in the freezer. Just sauteed that up let it get nice and crispy. And while that was happening, I got the onions and the garlic chopped up. I added white pepper, which is one of my favorite seasonings, some kosher salt, a little bit of dried ground ginger, and some black pepper. I really like the combination of white and black pepper. I do it always in my recipes, and it just adds a little something. And then here I'm adding, this was a last minute thought I had, this is some homegrown, dried and ground rosemary and sage that I grew in my garden, and I just let it dry out and I pulsed it up in a little spice grinder, and it's really, really good, and I thought it would be nice with the squash. I also made some almond butter on this same day, and it's super easy to make almond butter at home. You do have to have a pretty decent blender, but I just toasted a couple cups of almonds, let them cool to room temperature, add a pinch of salt if you want. I always do, and just blend it up in a blender until it's nice and smooth. It's so good.